subject today is sound designing as a brand, and this video was done to promote a book known as The Oath of Vayuputra. The book is by the famous writer which everybody knows, Amish Tripathi. And 2 years back, I did a small song, I did a small piece for his first book, which he launched by Amish, and and somebody did a very small 40-second video. But that video and that piece made a big difference to his book, which was his first book, and it became very popular. And there were a lot of hits on YouTube for that video, and that made a difference to his selling of his book. So 2 years later, when he launched this book, which is known as The Oath of Vayuputra, he came to me and he said, Taufiq, I'd like to do another piece, another song, and would you do it? So that's how I came into the picture. Designing the sound for this, it's a very unique thing. We usually have songs, video songs for films, never for a book. So it was the first time in the history of any promotion for a book that a video and a song was composed. And it has made a difference to his current book also, because this video also has a hit of about 1,31,000 or something when it was launched in a matter of a month, which is a big thing, because that means so many number of people have watched it and liked it and bought his book. And so designing a song or a sound, now if you will have observed over here, the video it's giving a time of Shiva, and Lord Ganesh is shown here, Sati is shown here, Kartik is shown here. So the sound designing from my side had to be such so that it had to be contemporary, but it had to have elements of folklore connected to Shiva, to Sati, to Ganesh. So if you would have observed, the sound designing has a lot of vocal percussions, chants, also sounds like gongs, big drums to signify Lord Shiva, chants to signify Lord Ganesh, as well as monkish sounds like all these kind of sounds to create an ambience of tradition. So keeping the tradition in mind, but making it contemporary so that it appeals to the youth. How many of you have seen the Taj ad of Ustad Zakir Hussain? So many of you, I can see many of you. And so Taj, the brand Taj, got associated to the tabla, which is associated with Ustad Zakir Hussain, right? Even till now, we can see that Saif Ali Khan is in that new ad, Madhuri Dixit is in the new ad of Taj. But even now, when you go to a person and you ask for, and you say, what do you think of when you give them the hook line, Taj, the one name they say is Ustad Zakir Hussain. So I'm trying to say that the sound of the tabla got signified with Taj and the Taj tea. So even now, with all due respect to Saif Ali Khan and Madhuri Dixit, even though they have come into the picture, it is still not have been possible to erase the concept of Ustad Zakir Hussain and the sound of the tabla from the Taj ad. So sometimes these things make a big difference. It was a big campaign when Zakir Hussain came on with this Taj thing, and it gave him also some other, it brought him into the picture and connected him with the masses. And the sound of the tabla, which was always there in India, I mean, it's been there for ages, you know, it's been there for 400 years. But suddenly people started liking that instrument, people started associating to that instrument, to that sound, and that sound became synonymous with Zakir Hussain. Not just in India, but all over the world. So when I came into the industry in mid-90s, the jingles that we were hearing were, you know, Hamara Bajaj, which was very famous. Also, we were listening to this Des Rag and Mile Sur Mera Tumhara. All these things were very popular. So when I came into the industry, and when me and my contemporaries came into the industry, we realized that we need to change the sound a bit so that, you know, what the youth wants today, or rather, make it sound so different that whoever is watching the ad will automatically get attracted to it. The film itself will attract, but the sound itself, when you hear the sound, the person has to just be like this, oh, what is happening, you know, what is this thing, what is this sound? I'd like to bring your attention to another jingle which I did for Indian Railways, which won the gold at the Cannes in 2010.
The magic of India, Indian Railways.
So anyway, so this jingle was done for Indian Railways. Here the sound design is using all this stamping, vocal percussions, and it's only stamping, body percussions and vocal percussions. That's all. The whole track is like that. Everything is being done by that. We even, like when you see them, Dharak Dharak Lohe Ki Sadak, what I did was at Blue Frog Studios, we got a metal sheet and I stamped on the metal sheet to create the sound of the metal. So yeah, so again coming to sound designing, once I was launching this Logan car, which is a car, and we launched this car at their warehouse in Nasik. So when they came to me and they said, sir, we'd like you to perform for the launch of the car. And they said, what unique thing can you do? So I said, the most unique thing I can do is I can play on your car. Simple. No? So they were like, huh? How can you play on the car? I said, yeah, for me, any surface, you give me any surface, I can play on your head also. So he said, really? Anyway, so he said, oh, well, can you do that? I said, yeah. I don't need to get any instruments. I can come and use your car as the instrument. So they said, well, we don't want to showcase the car first. After you finish playing, then we'll bring in the car. I said, okay. I said, give me some part of the car. So then we decided, and I went to their warehouse and I selected this bonnet, and some hubcaps and all that. So I performed at the launch of Logan using this bonnet, which they put on like this on a kind of a stand for me, and two of my students were there playing on hubcaps. And we performed on the bonnet and the hubcaps. And it was a very unique launch. Because for people it was like, wow, it's like, okay, your Logan is being launched, and you know, what we are trying to show here is how solid the car is. Even if you play with mallets and with these sticks, nothing happens to the car, it does not get dented. So it was a very nice way of branding the car. I mean, you're playing with sticks and all that, you're banging away, and after the performance, everything is intact. Of course, I was told not to play very hard on it. For me, sound branding, sound designing for a brand becomes very important. Be it my live concerts, be it film songs, be it jingles and anything. I like to design my sound in such a way that it appeals to the people. It is unique, and somehow, somewhere or the other, even if one is not paying attention, the sound itself should bring the person's attention to what is happening over here. So that's why sound designing for me becomes very important.